Full house.
You guys thought I was playing. You guys thought I was exaggerating.
With what?
With the turnaround.
Team was
How
going.
massive this turnaround can be.
John called him a wagon, so screen grab that tweet. I want it on record that John called them a wagon.
A freaking wagon. Dude, at that point, it was, I mean, it was that way all game. But in that third quarter, holy wow, they just put their lights out. I mean, it was bad early, but you figured puncher's chance. Philly had come in, hit some buckets. Smart had just gone down. And no, man, oh my goodness gracious. So I don't know where you guys want to go. The win is so impressive. I wish we could dedicate all of our time to, like, you know, we keep talking about statement win. Okay, fine. They don't have Harden, but you play tonight's game without Rob and you just put the screws to him. And then Marcus goes out in the first half and you just extend your lead. And it's not even funny. They had a little blip there. Philly goes on a 7-0 run and then they just put their foot on the gas, gone. But it's all great as long as Marcus comes back and he's not out for a really long time. But it's just hard not to, like, worry and wonder, because what the trade deadline did for you is it made you extremely freaking thin. And obviously, like, any core player extended absence would be bad. So where do you guys want to start? You want to start with the game, or you want to fret about Marcus a little bit?
No, I want to start with the game.
Go with the game.
Yeah, man. We got to spend a lot of time on this game. Yeah, man. They really annihilated this team, man. We got to give them more than 2 minutes.
As long as we don't talk about Jalen, I'm fine.
Yeah, no.
Oh, man. Too soon. Still too soon. Man, no. Shout out to Jalen balling out. Come on, John. Not even tonight.
Messing around.
No, I mean, listen, he was hot tonight it wasn't just a first quarter thing. I mean, those threes were falling. Everyone's threes were falling tonight, but, man, he was feeling it. And those heat checks were going down. That three to end the second quarter, to go into halftime, that was just the icing on the cake right there. You knew it was just going to be that kind of night after that. So, I mean, he deserves a quick mention tonight, and we'll move on to Tatum now.
A quick mention.
We'll move on to Tatum and Cornette got some burn late in the game, so we should definitely get to him.
Oh crap!
I mean, Jimmy, you're right. I mean, the second half, he could have given the Suns a little more, right? Yeah. So you're right. You guys are terrible to Jalen.
Where was Jalen in the fourth quarter? He disappeared again.
Didn't see him.
No, man. Look, listen. When this team is playing defense like this, again, we talked about it before. Like, they can have nights like this, but they're just not. We haven't seen that consistency of them being a 3-point shooting team, but we know they're capable because there's so many open looks for these guys when they're playing defense the way they are right now. So, like, nights like this are bound to happen. But to do it against the Philadelphia 76ers, and regardless of no James Harden, it's a heck of a message. Yeah, it's that much sweeter. And in my opinion, it's a message. It's a, hey, look out for us. Maybe not like a message in the we're going to get you in the best of 7 series, but more like a, hey, look out for us. We're out here. We're surging right now. Look out for what we're about to do.
Yeah, Sherrod, what do you got? You were there.
I don't think we can hear Sherrod, or I can't.
Sherrod, we can't hear you yet. That's part of the problem.
I was wondering.
So quiet.
I was like, he's way too quiet. Something's up.
I thought he was just listening. I didn't think he was.
Me too. I thought he was
Josue actually thought that Sherrod was listening to what Josue had to say. Come on, bro.
He's like
wow.
He's been talking the whole time. We just can't hear him.
I'm gonna let these idiots talk themselves out, and then I'll come in there.
We couldn't tell behind the mask.
Yeah, and then he comes in and drops knowledge. Yeah, that's usually how it works. No,
and then the chat's like, "Thank God Sherrod finally talked."
Before Sherrod goes, I mean, the one thing I'll say about this one,
it's funny because it's true. It's so true.
Yeah, Harden didn't play, but this was still a message sent. Like, oh, I think I just heard him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Oh,
now that the mask is, I was the mask.
It was just the mask.
Mask
off. Go ahead, Jimmy. Finish your thought.
No, real quick.
I know how quickly they go with you. So
yeah, I already forgot what I was saying.
Exactly.
Yo, get out of here. Wait. Hold on. Do you guys both hear him and I don't? Is that what's going on right now?
I can hear him.
Can you hear me now, Josue?
Oh.
Peace.
Josue's gone.
Deuces. Absolute deuces. I know I'm going to get this thought out at one point.
Brockton Wi-Fi strikes again.
Absolute mayhem. This is classic. This is a classic Garden Report start. Just absolute mayhem. This was a message sent by the Celtics tonight. Yeah, I know Harden didn't play and they're going to look completely different once he does. But they just took no prisoners tonight. They just took it to them from the start. Embarrassed them. That's an embarrassment on their own home turf right there. That's what that is. I mean, and it couldn't happen to an organization that I can't stand more, except maybe the Lakers. I mean, when it comes to Philly, the fans in Philly deserved a 50-point loss tonight. They really did.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Philly fans.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about this game that I just, it really stands out, obviously the score, but just the consistency. Like, even when the Celtics started throwing in this guy, that guy, the other guy, they were still kicking their ass in every level. I mean, Grant Williams, 4 for 5 from 3-point range. Grant was the 3-point sniper for them tonight, which is a phrase I thought I would never say in a million years. Neesmith had a career high scoring the ball. And yeah, a lot of that came in during garbage time, but you know what? Those are the minutes you get. Make the most of them.
He played actual rotation minutes, and he entered the game before Smart got hurt. And again,
you go
down one side. There's a trickle down when you go down a guy. Yeah, there's a trickle down though.
That started the whole thing, right?
No, but I mean, it starts with Rob's not out, so Grant starts. So you need some second unit minutes there.
Right.
Tice obviously came in to back him up, but that's still, he went to Neesmith early, and he was good. I mean,
3 for 5.
Yeah, for him.
And there's a difference. There's a difference for sure. Going to him early. Right.
Yeah, the other thing too, though, was just the way that they approached Embiid. I thought was really smart, because I mean, you look back at this game, Embiid's first field goal didn't come until the second quarter, about 6 minutes to play, and it wasn't as if he was. They were just basically making sure that he had a presence, a body almost everywhere he looked. They were swarming, and it wasn't all in the same angle. Some of it was coming backside, some of it was just straight double team. A lot of tilting. The game plan they had defensively for him was flawless in the first half.
Yeah, that's good.
It was incredible too. They didn't
make someone else beat you. That was clearly
right.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, exactly.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just gonna say they didn't take a whole lot of double teaming. It was just everyone sort of taking their turns and just staying in front of him. You know, I thought Al Horford did a good job, especially in the first quarter, to start things off. Just being a little physical with the body, but also just staying in front of him, and that led to misses, and that led to the Celtics offense just really, finding their momentum early in offense.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, I talked to Al before the game for a little bit, and the one thing he said, and it's true, they're winning, and they're not playing the best that they can play. Like, every game that they've won, really, the last, in this winning streak, there's been at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 games where you look at them and say, well, damn, Jalen really didn't shoot the ball that well. He could have shot better. Tatum made some bad plays that, it didn't cost them, but they still won by 15. The bench didn't really get it done here. And that is encouraging, because that means that there's growth, and they're finding ways to win while they're growing and figuring out different ways to win.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part about this team right now.
Tonight they had it all cooking at once, though.
Yeah, they did.
But with the exception of, like, Tatum started a little slow, but Brown came out hot. It was really, since you guys won't do it, I'll talk about Jaylen Brown. Because
get out of here.
But you know what though? Jason Tatum definitely has like a Matisse Thybulle kind of problem where he gives him some trouble. So that's like going to be a tough matchup for him to crack. It's one great thing about Simmons being gone here, because Simmons also actually. I mean, I remember JB, put Simmons in a blender, last year when they faced off. But he does a good job on Tatum also. So these guys are tough matchups for Tatum, which means you can't have Brown, who'd come off back-to-back not-so-great games, couldn't do that tonight. He had to get going, and he did early, and that was the best sign right out of the gate, was he was aggressive, he was hitting his shots, everything looked tighter with him, and he set the tone for them offensively before everything else kind of started happening for the Celtics, and everyone started knocking down threes and that, but Jalen was huge early in this game, and like I said, super important in a game where Tatum's gonna and Tatum did get it going eventually, but it was a little tough sailing in the early.
He picked up the slack though.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, that was great. And then, I mean, look, man, we do the make-miss league thing all the time.
Right. They definitely made it tonight.
You knock down this many threes.
Right. I think what we need to do is examine this closely and figure out what's the recipe for this to happen again. I mean, obviously, record-breaking shooting isn't going to happen every single time, but more consistent approach to how they're able to knock down so many threes would be huge for this team moving forward. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're going to crack the top 10 in shooting, but the fact that they're the best defensive team right now, when they're able to light it up the way they did tonight, obviously, I mean, who in the East is really going to stop this team when they have that much momentum?
Right. And that was it too. That it's like 32, 37, 32, 34. They never took their foot off the gas offensively. They won every single quarter, including the fourth quarter, which was basically straight G League, main, start to finish there. And they still won that. They still won that quarter handily. Yeah.
Peace, Josue. So Jalen's our Jaylen Brown Phenomenal Player of the Game award winner.
The brownie. He gets the brownie.
Yeah, he gets the brownie. So we actually, that's a little inception because we incorporated that award in the show so that we would always talk about him in some way, shape, or form. But tonight he actually won it. So, that's something that we'll have to keep tabs on. We'll have to have Nick. It's almost, instead of the Tommy Award, it's the Brownie Award.
The Brownie Award.
He played awesome.
I mean, the Jaylen Brown, we're not going to talk about it award, right?
We're not talking about it anymore. But Tatum came up huge later in that game, second quarter, whatnot. Sherrod talked about Grant stepping in nicely, and they actually got some production from their bench guys. What did you guys think of White tonight? We haven't mentioned him yet.
I mean, he didn't blow you off the page, but he finished with finished a plus 41.
Crazy.
Yeah. Right. I thought, right?
I mean,
I was going to say, I thought he stepped it up right after Marcus went down, but it wasn't even stepping it up. It was just more of the same, like he's just been so solid since he got here,
Yeah, I mean, he's just playing his game, and he's kind of fitting in really pretty easily.
Yeah, he's a real deal. I mean, he gives them exactly what they need.
I will say, he being the type of player that isn't going to always fill the box score in the most impressive way. I do think he was helped tremendously by that first game where he did fill up the box score a little bit and knocked down his threes and was kind of all over the place. And everyone was like, all right, because they've been quieter games the next couple, just statistically speaking, but that's not really, everyone will tell you how he's making his impact, isn't really through the traditional stats and the box score numbers. Solid. There wasn't a drop off. You were worried there when Marcus went down that would be a problem. It didn't happen. What I'm surprised by is even with Marcus out, he wasn't the primary ball handler really in many situations at all. Are you surprised at all?
In the history of the NBA?
Not really.
Necessarily. I mean, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Sherrod. I'll go after.
No, I was just going to say, it doesn't surprise me just because they have such a free-flowing style of play that is pretty much whoever gets the rock, you bring it up, unless there's a specific matchup that you want to kind of go at in a half-court set. I thought the only time he really brought the ball was when they wanted to run something in a half-court set, and they needed someone to orchestrate, to be the project manager and organize that. And so I thought that was his role. But for the most part, they recognized that there were so many holes in the Sixers defense that slowing the ball up was a bad idea. It was just a really bad idea. Just attack them, and that's what they did early and often.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it reminds me of, and I'm sure Bobby will love this, maybe I'll bring it up when he comes in, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of what Hayward used to do, that last season of him when he was just sort of not the facilitator, but just sort of make sure the ball was always moving. That's just his job right now. I feel like that's been what he's designed to do on offense, but also, of course, give you those, whether it's a quick bucket down low or whether it's an open shot from behind the arc. He does a little bit of that. And then, of course, what he means on the defensive end has been huge for this team. But, yeah, I mean, he's just been sort of the guy who makes sure that everything is fluid on offense. And we saw that again against the Sixers tonight.
Yeah, sorry, Josue. I mean, Sherrod, I muted you for a second with some background noise out there, but I think
I thought I lost you guys. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard him, the background noise stopped, I thought I lost you guys.
I gotta ask a question to everybody.
Yes.
Here. Is this the same team that we saw in November and December, and that we're just these are just a lifeless group of guys? But so what changed? What? It's an attitude adjustment more than anything.
Well, we talked about it last time,
reps,
right? The effort is totally different, right?
Totally different effort.
I think, to answer your question, though, I think reps and some shitty L's. To be frank, I mean, a lot of those losses stacked up, obviously, as we were covering all of them, and And I think you couple that with getting out of your, ridding the bad habits that this team was always doing, especially in the second half, and being able to keep that intensity for 4 quarters straight. I just think they sort of just got it now. They finally found that sweet spot.
Yeah, this will all sound like a bunch of go ahead, Sherrod.
No, I was just going to say, when I talked to Al this morning about that, actually, I asked him that very question, like, what the hell happened? Like, you guys have been like world leaders the last like couple of weeks. Before that, you kind of get your ass kicked quite a bit. And he was just like, you got to look at the fact that the last couple of weeks was the only time we've had all season where everyone that we were counting on in our regular rotation was healthy. And it's not even so much that you're playing all these guys. It's just, what your role is. You know that you're going to be putting your best 5-man lineup out there night in and night out. And, he said it's hard for people to kind of understand how chemistry changes from one team, from one possession, from one group to the next. And when you find it, though, you know it. And they have that now. And obviously, we talked a little bit about it, but Marcus Smart's situation, it's a nervous one. There's a reason to be. And Bobby, he'll come on here at some point and talk about it. But this was the thing that you worried the most about. That one, part of the machine not being available. How are they going to respond to that? And obviously, the second half, they beat the snot out of the Sixers. But what are you going to do against the Detroit team, which you should beat easily, but not having one of the pieces in your machine, how much is that going to impact how you approach the game, how you play that game?
Well, the part of it is like, and again, this is like XO platitudes about like wanting it more and getting it. But like we've talked about this team as a front runner before.
But real quick, guys, how long do you guys think it'll take for Bobby to start talking about Peyton Pritchard opportunities? Couple minutes? 3 minutes?
We'll see.
I hope not. I hope
Just
not.
saying.
Look, we've talked about them as front runners in the sense of like, they haven't done well late in games and they're do better with the lead. But another way to look at it is also like just experiencing some sustained success can be a little bit of contagious and you want a little bit more of it. So like even stacking together a couple of wins, like seeing something work, like you start with this switching defense and they're a little bit all over the place in the beginning. And then you're tinkering with lineups and things aren't working. And you're working with Tatum and Brown as primary ball handlers at certain times. And that's not working exactly right. And you're trying on different shoes and different things and see if they fit. And they've been doing that a bit. And it's not to make excuses for it, but like, your coach is like, do this. And you're like, okay. And then you go out there and it doesn't go great. Are you super excited to run out and do it again the next day? Or are you starting to question like, are we doing this right? Is it me? Is it you? Is it him? And so like seeing it work, like just increases buy-in, So like you've done it now a few times in a row and you're like, a formula. If we do this and we do this and we do this, it results in this. And like, I don't know. I mean, like I said, they're rolling. Like each game, they look better than the last at this point. And you're right. They're overcoming like each time it's not even perfect. It's like, wow, they won against this pretty good opponent. And this guy weren't great. And they played a crap second quarter. And like those games were automatic L's before. And now they're coming out as wins. So it's like, I feel like there's that buy-in. And the buy-in wasn't like they didn't trust Ime necessarily. They just needed to see results.
Yeah, seeing is believing.
Well,
right?
Yeah, and now they've got it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were afraid of 2 weeks ago, right? I mean, we were like, look, this is sort of the soft spot of the regular season, the time where you're starting to run out of time, right? Like the All-Star break is going to be coming up soon. You're still in the playing territory in the Eastern Conference. So this was the last 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden they rattle off 9 wins in a row. I mean, that's how everyone buys in. They see the results. Winning is the ultimate. Okay, we see what you've been saying, Coach. It's the ultimate. Everyone's gonna believe you or believe in the system when you rattle off 9 wins in a row, and you all of a sudden you're in the sixth spot in the East, and you just cut a game from the Philadelphia 76ers who had a 2-game lead heading into this matchup. Like, man, this thing could really get going. Like, whether we're talking about them cracking, a top 4 seed or just having this momentum overall heading into the postseason.
Well, what's crazy is like 2 weeks ago, we weren't even talking about this team as like buyers. We were like, are they going to be sellers? Like, are they contenders? You know what I mean? So it has happened very quickly, and maybe it shouldn't be that big of a surprise because, we did see flashes of these guys playing well, but they just couldn't maintain leads or they couldn't play for a full 48, and now what we're seeing is their defense is leading to offense. And that's the mark of a good team, or a team that's actually playing for a full
Discipline.
start to finish. Exactly, discipline.
Right.
You know, if you're not playing strong on the defensive end, then you're letting the other team score on you, get back on defense, and now it's a lot harder for you to get into your sets. If you're trying to run fast break, you can't. You know, the fact you don't have a traditional point guard in those situations where defenses are allowed to get set, you know, that's one of the worst things that can happen. So their defense is leading to them having the advantage on the other end, because they're shutting guys down. And when a team starts shooting, 25, 30% from the field, I mean, man, their shoulders start to slouch. They start to play a little bit slower. They start doing those Hail Mary shots that we've even seen the Celtics do at times earlier in the season. And you get into these one-sided, suck the life out of them games like tonight. And it was just a good, you kind of just one of those games where they just put their foot on their throats. It was nice to see them not let up. Like I think John mentioned, the Sixers went on a little bit of a run. I mean, it's the NBA, like it's gonna happen, but like it never got even close to the point where anyone was worried of a colossal breakdown here.
What do you guys think of that comment? Is that true? The I love you all, was that the one that changed everything? Marcus Smart saying that? I like that. He might be onto something there.
I don't know.
Jaylen Brown gave him a compliment after the game off on the walk-off interview.
He did.
Yes, I noticed that. I noticed that. It was the first time all year. Look at that. Yeah.
He said
seriously, like when have they ever said a solid positive thing about Marcus Smart? Like it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, really,
they kind of laid it up for him, but he did.
Besides Ime, he's the only one I've heard positive things about. I mean, it hasn't been all negative, but it just hasn't been mentioned much about Marcus.
Sure.
Yeah. Very quickly, one thing I do want to mention to people out there, because I know Jimmy loves this. This is Jimmy's new favorite thing. What's your favorite thing, Jimmy?
We talking about Discord?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Discord.
I was watching the game. I was looking for you guys. I didn't see anybody. I saw Joso on there. Shout out Joso.
Oh, we talking about Discord?
Our producer Amit.
Who hasn't?
Amit hasn't slept in 72 hours. He's just been on Discord the whole time, just making sure that the thing is running.
Every time I pop on, Amit's like holding court in there. He's tossing links up. It's honestly a lot of fun. I mean, all joking aside, it's fun in there, man. Like everyone's sort of just popping in and shooting the shit, talking about, typically Celtics, but NBA, and it was fun to be in there tonight during the game, and everyone's watching the game. So, it's fun to get everyone's live reactions. And we already have 400 people?
Almost 500 right now. I want 1,000 before the end of the night. First of all, we got about 2,400 people now watching us in multiple places, including our 2 YouTube channels and Twitch.
Nice.
But almost 2,000 in our main YouTube, 400 or so in Celtics. And, so why don't we get just a bunch of you guys over to the Discord server right now? We chatted up in the Celtics section, but I mean, really, there's a lot of different options there for
poke around,
places for you to go, poke around, check it out. The link is pinned to the chat. Join up, jump in there, chat. The chat's going now during the game. It was going during the game. It's going during postgame. A bunch of us usually jump on after the postgame show is over, and we'll be there to chat with you guys if you're interested at all. And then at various points throughout the day, and as time goes on, we'll start to have more planned chats. Josue might be hopping in at noon on a Tuesday, and Jimmy's kind of a Friday, Saturday night sort of guy. You might get him coming back. Coming back around midnight.
I did audio Discord.
Coming back from a fun night.
We have audio Discord on there too. We can jump in and do voice. People are just chatting up in there.
And the show's not over, guys. We're not going anywhere. We're just telling you, Discord's also a thing that we do in addition to this. And the link is invalid in description. CLNS Media. Anyone else getting that problem?
Jeez.
Anyway, join Discord. We're going to talk more. We're not going anywhere. We're still here. We're hanging out. But jump on with us. It's fun. We're doing it forever. But obviously, throughout the course of the season, there'll be a lot of stuff to talk about as we kind of continue on. I'm double checking here on the link.
There it is. People are on it right now. See that? People have been. This is all during the game, during the show.
Link invalid, guys. We've got a problem with the link. So
Jesus.
Let the producers know back home. Fix the link. A bunch of people just tried to join.
Fix the damn link.
We just lost about 20 people. Oh, it
Everyone's
expires.
pissed.
We'll put a new one up.
Pissed.
Everyone's mad now.
I tweeted.
Forget it. Forget everything I just said. Don't join Discord.
We'll do a separate sub Discord on.
Somebody
bring up the link.
Yeah, I did. Somebody let me know when the good one's in there, and we'll tell you to join that time.
Someone said this one works, but I don't know. He might just be joking around. I don't know.
I know.
Can't trust him. I'm waiting for 2 more people to confirm.
You know what? Maybe we shouldn't make it so easy for people to join. You know what? Might make it a little bit more exclusive. I kind of like that idea a little bit.
Let's make it easier, okay? We got a new situation. The last thing I'll say about it, and then we'll move on. Ready? Here's a link you can just type in.
What do you got?
I don't know. Is it up there?
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's easy enough.
Do that.
CLNSmedia.com/Discord.
Easy, short link, quick link. CLNSmedia.com/Discord. Go there.
And Amit,
Someone said
we'll tweet the link too.
Someone said there's 700 million people on Discord. That's funny. That's funny.
That's impossible.
That's a joke on me, and I gotta give him props for that. That's funny. That's really funny.
Sherrod, I know it's not the game story, but you mentioned him earlier. What did you like on it? We do this, and then the next time we see him, he's just the same kind of basket case, and he plays 6 minutes, and then he sits down, and then that's the end of his night. But do you think Nesmith did enough in his first stint to have earned more minutes if the game weren't such a blowout?
Yeah, I do. I think he was, and a couple reasons for that. One, because of the way he was playing, but two, you didn't have Rob, so you had a vacuum of minutes to disperse to the rest of your team, and someone had to, kind of enter the rotation who doesn't normally play, and Nesmith is that guy. But he did a lot of good things out there. I mean, he had his typical head scratching moments where you're like, dude, you're open. What the hell are you doing missing a wide open shot?
Yeah, that corner.
But yeah, he had those moments. But overall, though, he did a lot early on to justify why he was going to be out there longer stints. But to me, Nesmith at this point, the ceiling for him is like 10, 12, maybe 15 minutes a game. That to me is like the most you're going to get out of him. And then again, that's stretching it a bit. That's probably with one guy out of the rotation that he's filling in for. So,
what was crazy surprising? I was looking up last year because we were all along with Sherrod, we've been saying Nesmith, he just needs a guaranteed 15, 18 minutes a night and stop yanking his chain. And then someone's like, yeah, he got that last year. And I was like, no. And I went back and looked. Nesmith averaged 14.5 minutes a game last year. And I just wouldn't have known that. It didn't feel like it. I don't know if most of those were amassed in garbage time or in a couple of stints. It was like
garbage time. It was like after 8 straight DNPs.
It felt like he was all over the map.
Don't forget, John, when you don't play, that doesn't average into your playing time.
Exactly. So in games he played 14.5, but he had so many of those DNPs, Jimmy, and exactly right.
Yeah. And plus Brad would do it like in weird spots. It would be the final 2 minutes of like a second quarter or a third quarter, or the beginning of like the second quarter here and there. There was never enough time for him to build momentum, I thought. But then at the same time, he didn't really show you much to earn that, to add more, give him more playing time, especially for a team that was trying to compete. If this was a team that was a bottom feeder or one trying to make the playoffs, I think you would see him more often. But this hasn't been that team, or at least they shouldn't have been last year.
Brad was like, it was psychological warfare with him last year. He was just trying to break his brain.
Yeah, I think Brad realized that. Look, I've done the damn daycare thing with these guys. I'm not doing that to you, man. We gotta get some grown ass men in the building. And we saw that at the trade deadline with some of the moves he's making. And you look at his rotation. I mean, young folks need not apply. Y'all not ready. And until you prove that you're ready to do more than just get garbage minutes, you ain't gonna play. Pritchard is the only one of among that young core that you can see is going to get an opportunity in the coming weeks. But depending on what they do with some of those open roster spots, he may find himself racking up some DNPs very soon if he doesn't start making more out of those 10 to 15 minutes he's getting every game.
Yeah, well,
you know what else too?
too?
I feel like there's something to be said about surviving the herd, so to speak, right? Like if you're Neesmith, you're like, man, I'm still here. Like I'm still in this opportunity. I wasn't traded. I haven't been shipped up to Maine to spend the rest of the year. It shouldn't surprise him because this team has said all the right things that they clearly believe in him. But at the same time, it makes it that much more real that you're in this opportunity, and there's only there's 3 roster spots open. There's not a whole lot of guys in the rotation, and you're getting those minutes. You're at the bottom of that rotation, but you're in there, and you have to make the most of your minutes. I thought he did an incredible job, especially when in this type of matchup where the game was sort of out of reach, or even before the game was out of reach. You're thrusted in there. You do well. And then all of a sudden you go off, regardless of what the scoreboard said, you found that momentum and you were able to keep going. And all of a sudden you're flirting with a 20-point game. That's huge, especially for his confidence right now.
Yeah. So he's right. And, he sees Maxey on the other side of the floor tonight. He's like, I know what you guys have been saying about me. And and who they who they should have taken. And
he's playing for pride right now. He's really playing for pride, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, that was one of the fun things about the second unit, that bench unit there in the fourth quarter too, was they played hard. It wasn't just, let me get my threes, yes, they were looking for their shots, but they were still like going for it. I think it was guys who were like, I think there's a lot of guys out there who are like, I might be able to actually get some rotation minutes here. So I want to show that this isn't just friggin' clown time, that they didn't just put 10 through 15 on the floor and for mop-up duty. I'm here to play, So they were playing. They were trying on both sides. Another thing we didn't talk about a ton, I did want to give it a little bit of love before Bobby comes in because he's going to want to spend the rest of the show on it. So we got to hit on it at least once. Tice, man. Here was my worry with Tice. I liked him last year. We didn't, and I know Jimmy was on board here. We just didn't like Tristan. And the minutes were going to Tyson Tristan, and we wanted to see them go to Tyson Rob. And that was really it. And I liked Tice as a backup big, but this was a couple of years ago or whatever, beginning of last year. But there was a fear that though you were getting a broken version of him back, he wasn't playing great this year. So, he'd been losing out on minutes out there too. And again, there's a play the kids movement. What do you need a guy like Tice for there? But he's the ideal backup right now for these guys. He is perfect with that second unit.
Yeah, I agree. He's a veteran that he knows the organization. He knows the team. He knows Tatum and Brown pretty well. And plays with Rob and all those things that you look for in a guy that can come in off the bench quickly, fit right in. We know that he's a good locker room guy because of all the former or now current players that, enjoyed his time with them. It's good. He had a very tight night tonight. Did he have 5 fouls? So it's like he hasn't skipped a beat.
But he had 1 foul in the first 35 seconds after you checked it. I thought that was
yeah, exactly. But no, he can come in, play multiple positions over there. Obviously multiple big positions, and he can play small ball if they want to, and he can hit that outside shot. So he allows him to do a few different things out there, and it's a good player for Ime to sort of rely on. You didn't want to stick Ime with a bunch of guys with no experience or just guys that were going to be buyout guys or 10-day guys. He needs to be given enough talent so that he can get 8-9 guys
second time
strong
in
the rotation. Yeah.
He's good, man. He's athletic. He's active. He's switchable. He just does a lot of things for you. And just again, that was always what was the downside to the double big? And again, Rob doesn't play it, throws the whole equation out. The downside to double big minutes was you had nowhere to go on the bench. Nowhere. And now this is a phenomenal option.
Look at you.
Phenomenal.
It is. It is.
No, I agree. I think we all agreed with that when we first heard about the trade, but we just kind of wanted to.
I just didn't know what they were getting. Right. If he was it's like everyone wanted Aaron Baines, and then you saw Aaron Baines playing elsewhere, and you're like, oh, he's the worst player in the league now. Just even after a year away. So you're hoping you're getting the same thing back. And he looked like he didn't miss a beat. Sherrod, you got a party going on back there?
Phoenix Baines wasn't that bad.
No, not even close.
A little crowded.
It's something to that effect.
Yeah. Sorry, Sherrod's keeping it quiet back there.
But you know where I'm at,
Blow
though.
up-
I mean,
blow up
this
vibes.
this is what happens. I mean, folks can't understand why their team got their asses kicked, but you know, it's all good. It's all
Yo,
good.
it's Keith. What's Keith saying? Keith talking shit?
Not yet. But he called this.
Keith always. Oh, he called it. All right, he ain't talking shit.
He
then.
called it. He
Keith-
said this
Keith-
was going to happen. He
Keith,
said this was
Keith
going to happen.
always.
Pompey?
He's got.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got his Philadelphia 76ers at. He usually
He
comes
called
correct with
this
the.
one, though. He said that. He
Oh,
said
he
this
called
was.
it?
He
Okay.
said it was going to be this kind of game. I'm thinking like you
Okay.
full of. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I said. He was full of, but
Yeah, you two don't use you don't use PG language when y'all two talk. I noticed that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great though. It's entertaining.
Tell Bodner we got his pod waiting for him if he's out there too.
Oh, good call.
We got it warm.
Good
We got it
call.
warm and waiting for him if he wants it. Yeah. So yeah, Bobby Manning is in there. Guys, seeing anything interesting in the post game at all?
No, I haven't
seen a good.
much.
I haven't seen a good smart update.
No. Oh, Ime said he rolled his ankle pretty bad. That's all I saw, and they're gonna.
Yeah,
That's all he
They're
said.
gonna
Yeah.
wait till I see tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to play against Detroit.
Definitely not.
There's no
No.
point. The
Just
only,
let him
the only-
rest. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that you're concerned about is whether it's something that requires something beyond just rest and recovery. That's your concern at this point.
Speaking of Ime, I was trying to wait until Bobby came on, but I don't know where the hell he is. He must be just living up the media availability right now. But there's a lot
Luke
of
Cornett
people.
Did play. Luke Cornett did play, so
Oh, that's
Bobby might be a minute. Bobby
He's
might be a
He's
minute.
He's
He's
having a
trying to
beer
get
with
that
Luke right now.
101.
He's having a beer with Luke and Aaron. No, I'm just
There's a lot of people, especially in this chat, who may owe Ime an apology.
Don't go there, Jimmy. And I'm going to tell you why. Here's the thing. He's been better, just like the players have been better. Let's not pretend as if all
They
the
wanted him
things that
fired, though.
No one, Jimmy. We didn't stop.
Not
Jimmy.
us. Not us. I'm saying, some,
Oh.
you can hear. I didn't say us.
I was
said
gonna
people.
say. I was like, when did Sherrod say that? I thought you were trying to call him.
No, I literally said people in the chat.
They were.
You know
wrong.
who you are. You know who you are. I'm not calling
They know who
everybody
they
out.
are. Well, it just didn't make sense. I mean, I would have been more disappointed if he had his full allotment of players at the beginning of the season and they were getting their asses kicked. Then it would have been a problem. That would have been a problem because that team, as they're constructed, should not have been losing if everyone's healthy. But when you've got guys in COVID, health and safety protocol, injuries, illnesses, all that other stuff,
Right.
you're going to struggle. And you're a first-year coach, too, so you're trying to figure a lot of this shit out on your own.
First
you
year
don't know.
coaches have a very tough track record, typically because they take over bad teams. But I do think that the one thing I think we all agreed on is that the players need to buy into what Ime's saying. He's not always going to paint it rainbows and butterflies. And that's kind of what everyone thought that the Celtics needed, was a guy that was going to tell it like it is, play, be tough on them, make them really work for things. And I think finally maybe he sort of cracked through. And now, like John said earlier, seeing is believing. Now they're kind of seeing what Ime's been preaching is translating to wins. And now everything's all honky-dory.
They are getting, there's the whole, like, they're getting extremely fashionable as a pick now in kind of the Twitter sphere, and not just among fans and people who follow basketball, but among like people who cover basketball are starting to talk, like there's something happening with this team right now. And again, you really hope the Marcus
We're the hottest
Smart
team in the league.
Clearly, yeah. But I mean, it's like beyond like a run, kind of like almost like an evolution, and like that feels like the vibe as people are talking about it. Like they're doing something over there right now. Watch out, And again,
Right.
When you go back to the trade deadline or you talk about kind of the whole thing and how it's working out, it works. If Tatum and Brown are Tatum and Brown, if Tatum and Brown do Tatum and Brown things and everyone else plays their role, that's enough. That's enough to be competitive against almost anybody that you're going to throw out there right now. Again, we're really curious to see Philly 2.0 and Brooklyn 2.0 once they get their rosters together and what that's going to look like when they play. But in the here and the now, right now, there's not, again, we keep talking about where's the quality wins going to come. Who are you going to put in front of them right now that you're going to be like, oh, that's going to be that's a team they can't beat? There really isn't one right now.
Well, look,
Well,
I
if they
mean,
keep
I
playing
think
this way defensively, I'm still not completely
Right.
sold offensively.
Not
on
yet.
them.
But it's up to Tatum and Brown. It's like Tatum and Brown have to beat.
Yeah,
that's always been the
no.
key. That's why we hit them so hard. They have to be they have to be transcendent. Those guys have to be a problem. You know, where like when everything else is going fine and you're playing, the other team's playing well, and those guys are just doing stuff that you can't stop. That's when it becomes real. But if those guys are off, there's just not enough around them to be able to account for it. You have to win a real rock fight, which they can now because the defense is playing the way it wins. So there's a puncher's chance even when they're not
every
going
time.
well. But when they're going well, that kind of changes the equation for them. So that's why it's becoming a problem, because if those guys are playing like they played tonight, it's game over.
Well, that's the cheat code right there. I mean, it's like when they're playing well, they're going to crush you because that defense is so locked in now that it doesn't matter who steps out there. They're looking to shut you down. I mean, like I said earlier, their game plan defensively against Joel was near flawless. They sent doubles from all different angles. He could never get a comfort level thinking and knowing where the double team was going to come from. It came from all different angles. And again, they're a problem now. They're a legitimate problem.
As Jalen said, the energy has shifted. Is that what he said?
He did say that. He tweeted that out after the Atlanta loss. Yeah.
They're a problem. I mean, there's no getting around that, because the one thing that they have gotten to the point where they can rely on every night is their defense.
Yeah.
And
what too is?
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, Sherrod, real quick. What was the Philly people saying? I know you said Keith said he was expecting this tonight, but what was the reaction to the Celtics from out-of-town media? Like, what's their vibe?
I think for them it was just shock, that not so much that there was a loss, but just that it was so emphatic. You figured there would be more of a fight, but there was no. I mean, this thing was over by halftime. It really was, and again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. This defense has figured out how to just really not shut down core guys, but make their lives incredibly uncomfortable. Like Jokic had a really big game against Denver, but you look down the stretch, he was 3 for 8 in the fourth quarter. He had 3 rebounds. And you look over at Rob's numbers. Rob's had 4 points, just as many rebounds, had 3 blocks in the fourth. So they're figuring out ways to make the best players mortal. And when you get into the playoffs, that's what you want. Because that means you got a fighting chance to win every single game. Doesn't mean you're going to, but at least you know you're positioning yourself to be competitive in those situations. And that's really, when you look at the moves Brad made, that's what they're looking for. They were looking to bring in guys that can compete. And Brad, he got sick and tired of looking at the damn daycare roster that he had out there. He wanted to get some grown-ass men in here. So
and he's the guy who knew firsthand what
he knew better than anyone.
About. Exactly.
Right.
He's like, man, Ime, you're not doing this. You're not going through what I went through. Let me help you out here a bit. But yeah, that's a great point, Sherrod. And also the language that he used in that press conference. It was almost as if Brad was defensive. Like, yeah, I gave up 2 future firsts. So what? Like, this guy's gonna deliver, and this guy
you went Brad gangster on you.
Yeah, he really did. He went gangster. Like, he was like, listen, like I stand behind this decision. And yeah, I'm not doing things.
He looked right in John's eyes. He looked right in John's eyes. He said, "Yeah, and I would have gave up a 2029 pick too."
So what you got, Corrals? Bring it up. What's the next question? Next question. Like, I swear he was gonna drop a next question. But no. In all seriousness, though, the trade obviously is a huge.
In all seriousness, they still overpaid by a lot. But yeah, go ahead.
They did, but that's not on him. That's on Danny's tab. Okay,
I know.
On Danny's tab
fair enough.
For drafting poorly. That's the way Brad's rationalizing.
You draft poorly, you got to overpay.
Yeah, but anyways, he knows that unlike other teams in the East, he's got 2 elite scorers, and that's the difference. We talked about teams like the Atlanta Hawks of 3 weeks ago. Oh man, they're surging. Look out for them. And where are they now? Like it's interesting how many teams in the East have gone through that. That's sort of a similar transformation to what the Celtics are doing, but the timing has been a little bit off. For the Celtics, I think right now, obviously it was just in time. Obviously, heading into the All-Star break, all of a sudden you're in the sixth spot in the East. So the timing is great, but this trade, I think, is the ripple effect from, or these trades rather, is huge for this team. Everyone's buying into this culture, and it's all happening at the same time. To see Marcus go down is a tremendous loss, but hopefully he'll be all right after the All-Star break. We have to wait and see, but it doesn't take away from what this team is going to be able to do, I think, tomorrow night.
Well, the other thing too you got to remember also is that they've played a lot of the tough squads already. So the schedule is going to kind of lighten up significantly for them compared to some of the other teams in the Eastern Conference. So there's going to be opportunities for them to continue to move up the standings. And I mean, we could be looking at a team that's looking at a top 3 finish in the East before it's all said and done. That's not nearly as crazy as it may have seemed like 2-3 weeks ago. Because again, they're at their hole right now, and that's good enough to beat pretty much every team in the East as we've seen.
And that would change everything, right? I mean,
Oh
home
yeah.
court, obviously, the matchups, best of 7 matchups. I mean, we still thinking about we know the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, teams like that. I don't think the Celtics have leapfrogged, but at the same time, if you're able to avoid one of those guys, one of those teams, which seemed impossible if you were fighting for a spot just to make the playoffs. Now you're in a unique spot and you have that momentum going in. It's huge.
So 2 things. One, I've been hurt before, so I'm not completely sold yet because I've seen this happen in the past. So I'm cautiously optimistic by what I've seen. 2 is that
Jimmy's looking at this like Charlie Brown and Lucy. He's like, I'm not falling for that again.
Exactly. I ain't kicking this football. Nope, not doing
Okay.
it. 2, could the NBA All-Star break be happening at a worse time for the Celtics? I mean, talk about a team that's been clicking.
Not given the Marcus injury, but yeah.
Yeah, the Marcus injury aside, sure. I just mean like they have so much going right in the right direction right now. Yeah, I hate for them to take like a week. I'm not worried that they're gonna go off and party for a week straight. I'm just saying like they have all this momentum that you kind of want to just keep playing games.
Well, I'm not as bothered by that only because I'm looking at the teams that they're going to be playing out the gate. You open up with Brooklyn, which at Brooklyn, which is great because that means no Kyrie. Then you play a Detroit team that you should beat. Indiana is not very good. Atlanta's struggling. I mean, and Memphis is pretty much the first real legitimate challenger you're going to face out the break, and you've got 3 or 4 tune-up games before you get there. So I'm not worried about them coming out the break because I think they're, again, as I mentioned earlier, they're playing teams that they should be able to beat, regardless of where they are, regardless of whether you have Marcus Smart available or not. So I think they're in good shape.
Okay. He thinks he's in good shape. We're gonna wait on Bobby to pop in here too. He's doing some post-game stuff, and we'll go once around the horn again. Who have we not talked about tonight? Obviously, people got to see their Hauser minutes. Look, you don't know how he would hold up against actual NBA players having to play defense in critical moments. The dude can shoot though, man, and it's so free and easy. Again, we've talked about finding ways to hide Hauser minutes, put him in lineups where the defense isn't going to be so noticeable. Other teams do this. There are players in the league who just shoot and aren't great defensively, and you just find ways to get them in there. You would like to see, again, it stinks to know that that's there on the bench and to not, break glass in case of emergency because they have shooting emergencies a lot, They don't need it now because they're just winning with defense and whatever level of offense and level of shooting that they're getting. But I'd still like to see a way to, to work him in there a little bit. And again, I think you've got enough good defensive players you can hide him in some lineups.
The way to get around that is just play zone. I mean, that's how you hide bad defenders. You just play zone, and you've got enough length in your lineup to where you can be an effective zone. I mean, that's the key to the zone. The best zones are the ones that have guys with ridiculous length. That's why, my alma mater, Syracuse, we always play zone because we get guys who are like 6'8", 6'9", with 7-foot wingspans who can't shoot, but we can defend the hell. But we can defend that. That's what we do.
That's true. That's true.
So Heat lose tonight. Cavs lose tonight. Sixers obviously lost tonight. Celtics inching their way up here.
Going up.
I have to say, I'm stunned that this is a conversation that we're having based on how the season kind of started for the first. I'm just stunned. John, I mean.
What's the crazy part, Jimmy?
The
crazy part is that you're not even crazy for thinking they can finish potentially with the best record in the East. It's not
right now. It's not crazy, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I need to see a little bit more of it.
I want to feel that it's crazy because to me, I'm struggling to grab my arms around that idea. But when you look at the standings, you look at the way they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. The Nets are going to be losing games until Simmons comes back, right? I mean, and even when he comes back, who knows what's going to be there? I mean, obviously, we don't know what Durant's deal is either right now. The Sixers aren't going to be doing a whole lot until Harden comes back, and if he's healthy, and we'll see how that goes. And teams like the Heat, Bulls, those are beatable teams. Like, there's
They
no,
are.
there's
Look,
there's Warriors of 4 years
I
ago. In the
I don't
East.
want to. Yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead. Like
No, but
I don't know where they'll finish. But what's clear is like it's more wide open than you would think. There's no like a lot of the playoffs will be settled by matchups. There's teams that they'll match up with better than others. But I mean, even still, Brooklyn and Philly are incomplete, and you're going to see different teams for sure.
Right.
Atlanta, I don't know if they're going to put it together. They might not. Listening to Clint Capella talk on a podcast earlier today, they sound broken. Like they sound like what we were talking about the Celtics last year.
Yeah.
Nobody's into it. They're not playing. Nobody's
Well, they had a
trying.
good win
There's no
tonight.
defensive effort. Right. So they've got some problems here, but then there's talent enough there where they could become a problem. Chicago's been playing without, with a bunch of injuries. Levine's been out. So Toronto again is playing well. I still think the Celtics probably have more than them. And then Charlotte has a lot of talent, and they're in a bit of a dip now too. There's a lot of teams there that can make some noise.
Right.
So I don't know where they're going to fall in terms of standings. However, if the playoffs started today and they matched up with blank, would you be like, yep, game over, can't win that one? Like,
No.
Is there a team right now you'd be like, no way can they beat them?
Right
There's a couple you don't want to play. I don't want to play Milwaukee. Right.
Yeah, exactly. To me, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat, which a few weeks ago was a reality, right? The first round matchup against one of those teams, forget it. That would be tough for the Celtics. But now, the Celtics putting themselves in the top half. You avoid those teams at least until the later rounds of the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm not going to want to play. I'm not going to want to play a Nets team in the playoffs. Definitely not.
If they have home court, it's fine.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see if that happens that way. I mean, if Simmons comes back, Simmons is going to be back let's go. He's going to be back, and as long as he stays healthy, they're going to be a very, very difficult team to beat.
Look at this guy.
Hey,
there he is.
Look who made it.
I'm here.
Real
show.
What's going on?
Any cheesesteak?
We talked about Jalen. We talked about
Talked about everything.
A little everything. We saved you a little Tyson Pritchard if you want. There's a little slice left on the counter.
Little Cornet action for you.
Cornet. How about this quote from Ime? Once Horford got 2 fouls, Luke Cornet was in the back of my mind. Didn't go there, obviously, but that's how good Daniel Tice was.
I feel you.
What was the buzz? What was the buzz in the post game?
Just a lot of confidence from this group. You just see the stature Tatum's talking with, the confidence in the ball movement, the free-flowing nature of the offense right now. Like just this, season highs getting thrown around in terms of blowouts. And this team holding, for the 4th time, a team under 33%. They have 4 of the best 12 field goal percentage defensive games in the league this year. And this was the best tonight, 28.9-ish, or just 28% from the field. No team has held an opponent to that number this year. So this group just feels good about where it's at. The fact that you can plug Grant in there. Tatum talked about the fact that that made everybody feel like a little bit more energized on the defensive end because they knew they wouldn't have Rob to lean on. And you saw it early in this game. They were just piling up stop after stop after stop. And it's funny because Harden sat on the bench and watched the Nets go down 28-2 in that game. Here, he just watched the bricks pile up in the first quarter.
And
the
look on his face, man, it was so funny. He's like,
all of it on national television too, back to back, national television, TNT games, and Harden's just like this.
All of it with him wearing that damn outfit. Like, what are you wearing?
That was unreal.
Bobby, better fit tonight, you or Harden? I wish we could get a side by side up of fits tonight.
Bobby.
It depends what you're going for.
Bobby with the hat.
Mine's a little more traditional. I didn't mind it. I thought it was an interesting attempt, but it wasn't bad. It was unique.
Interesting attempt.
You got the hat, Bob, or what? A couple people
Yeah,
are
it's
calling
in
for the
there.
hat. Okay.
It's in there. We took it off at halftime. It's warmed up in here.
What was the vibe surrounding Smart?
Oh yeah.
Interesting comment from Brown about Smart is talking about Smart's temperament over the last 10-4 games. I thought that was an interesting word choice there, just in terms of how he's been playing, the temperament or the approach to the game being the key word there. But basically, everybody just felt that someone else is going to have to step up there. There wasn't a huge concern over it. And honestly, I don't have a ton either. We'll see what the grade is and everything like that. It's an ankle sprain. He'll miss some time here for sure. But it looked really bad when he went down. And with the All-Star break coming up, Detroit tomorrow, there's no good time to get hurt, but he'll have a week and some change here to recover from whatever grade of a sprain that was. It wasn't great to see him not being able to put weight on it, though. Overall, though, Ime was pretty tight to the vest about it. He said he didn't like the way he was walking when he left the locker room here.
It looked bad.
Oh, that's not good. Did he have crutches or a boot or anything?
No word on that.
No, it didn't look
I
good.
mean,
If only we had somebody there to look.
come on.
Watch him leave.
Damn, Jimmy.
Damn, Jimmy.
The hell,
He's trying.
No, it'll trickle out. We'll find out soon enough. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean,
They'll be back in Boston tomorrow.
the worst ones are the ones those are awful when you step on somebody else's foot.
Yeah.
Those are so
It looked
bad.
very painful.
God. So, again, you'll see. I mean, what's the point of playing doctor? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You're hoping it's not 6 weeks and then lingering, So like anything within a couple of weeks, you feel pretty good that you got away with one.
Yeah, I was talking like it's a good thing it wasn't the calf strain we saw last year.
That's what I
think you
thought.
threw out
Yeah.
there, John.
Well, I think that's what he was
Like,
holding.
I thought he was
Yeah.
holding his calf. I thought he
He was
That's what
probably thinking. He's probably thinking about that. That's why.
and the
But, yeah.
calf strain was like a tear, like it was like bad.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
guys. I mean, again, not to be all doctor, but when you roll your ankle, you do pull multiple ligaments in that leg.
Yes,
the calf
you tear
could still
them.
be affected.
Yeah.
The calf could still have been. The calf
Good call.
ligament
Jimmy
is
coming through with
connected
the
to
medical.
the ankle ligament.
with
It's
the
almost
me-
like the knee bone and the hip bone.
Here we are
connected to
guessing
the-
injury. What the hell are we doing?
It's not the injury. It's just the momentum slam the brakes. Whether you lose him for X amount of time or it takes him a while to get back into it, it just was. That's why it's bad timing, and the fact that they're so thin. You lose one other person for even a teeny bit of time, and you're in a weird place with this team. So
It was interesting though, because I thought the rush was going to come right after the end of the second half. I think it was just under a 30-point lead coming in the second half, but Grant and Al hit those threes, and it was off to the races from there. The Philly just never made a push, even though Smart wasn't in there. They got minutes against Neesmith and Pritchard. Those guys actually played pretty well in this one, Neesmith especially. So they held it down from a depth standpoint in this one. And then obviously the deep portion of the bench there just mashed Phillies. Like I wrote on Celtics blog, a couple games ago, this is a key spot for Pritchard and Neesmith. It's like sink or swim for those guys right now. And this was probably Neesmith's best game of the year by far. So Pritchard did a good job spreading the ball around. Both of them fit into what they were doing defensively, obviously, given the numbers that they held the Sixers to here. So that's the encouraging thing out of this one, is that you just didn't fall apart after Smart went down, which I was worried was going to happen.
let me ask you guys a question, because a couple people have put this in the chat. I'm curious your thoughts. Everyone's always like, the buyout market is the biggest much ado about nothing, story every single year. We've been over
That's
this.
what you say.
Even the best guys, whatever teams they go to, end up not making a huge impact, but they always go to the same teams. You see I Googled Dragic today just to see what's that market going to look like?
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
They list 7 teams, and the Celtics aren't one of them.
It's like LA, Miami, Chicago. Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the question a couple of people asked in the chat is, now that the Celtics are playing extremely well and look like they might actually be a contender, and B, are actually a team where opportunity might be real, and you might be able to come here and actually make an impact. Might they be more attractive than they would have been a week or 2 weeks ago? Because you think they chase one of two things. I want to go play in a place that's cool, like LA. Like the Lakers shouldn't be on anybody's list, but they're on everybody's list,
See, I was just gonna say a couple of those the usual suspects, so to speak. They're not on that list now, and I think there's
But then it's always Bucks. Now it's Bucks. Now it's Heat.
Right.
People are
Bucks
looking
got
for
Bembry today.
a quick path to the title, right? Right.
I think the national exposure and the winning streak and the Tatum Brown, yeah, I think that helps. That's a good way to draw in one of these guys. But at the end of the day, sometimes these guys are just looking for a better situation. So it all depends on what player we're talking about, obviously, right? Like, I mean, if it's a guy who doesn't see an opportunity for them to play, then they may lean to another team, or if they have another option where they have a better chance to win a championship, depending on how old they are, they may pick that other team. So, but I think the Celtics put himself in a good position right now because of this momentum. I think that helps.
Well, it helps definitely, but it again they're battling perception, they're battling the reality that there are teams who have clear holes in their roster, like the Lakers. Like I don't think the names that you see are on there just because it's in LA. It's because that team sucks. And if you're a halfway decent player, you can go in there and actually play minutes because again, they kind of suck. Yeah, and you look at a team like Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a really good team, the defending champs, and so they have the opportunity to contend for a championship to dangle out there, even if the city isn't the most attractive place in the world. And so the Celtics are kind of somewhere in between there. There are opportunities, but I don't think their opportunities are as abundant as people might think. Like if I were a point guard and I wanted to go somewhere and play, 15 minutes or so for a really good team, Boston would be on my list because I know if I'm a pretty decent player and I got some experience, I can probably take Peyton Pritchard's minutes.
Yeah, I just don't know who's out there. Dragic is. I don't know what he has in the tank. He didn't look good earlier this year with the Raptors. He hasn't played at all, really.
I think he's done.
Yeah, so, and then what else is it? It's just guys, It's nothing that's going to help you that much.
Not
John
much.
was right. The market didn't look great. And, Gary Harris didn't break loose. Doesn't sound like he's gonna. Other guys that sound all right. Tyreek Evans, like, who knows? It's been like 3 years since he played.
No.
So, yeah, nothing's going to help you there. You do need to fill the spots, though. You got about a week or two here where you actually do have to get guys in there. They said, Ime said at practice or whatever it was a few days ago, they're looking to either add shooting or developmental guys. And I'd lead developmental guys. Get some projects in here, big, who you can work up. I think there's a couple names out there in that regard right now. Listen, nothing's going to bail you out right now in terms of the buyout market. It's just guys, like that's,
what about our old friend who we always get asked and I'm sure you guys get asked as much as I do on Twitter. Mr.
He's
Fourth
going
Quarter.
back. He's going back to Grand Rapids.
I know. So he's ripe for the pickings now. I mean,
you just got rid of two guys.
Especially if you just lose Marcus Smart, though. I'm not saying they're similar players.
Who's your friend, Dennis?
You just got rid of Dennis.
He is my friend, but
he's my friend too.
He's my friend, guys. Isaiah Thomas is also our friend.
He is. Poor guy. He literally is like, what's it gonna take, guys?
He's just tapping on the window.
Speaking of finding jobs, it is a good opportunity to mention our sponsor, LinkedIn, one of our many sponsors here at the Garden Report. It is a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need. That's where LinkedIn Jobs comes in. They make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. We here use it at CLNS Media all the time, and it's a terrific tool.
That's how we found Bobby.
You create a post in minutes, and you can reach the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people, Josue.
Wait, no way.
Yeah. I was surprised too, Jimmy.
770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills. Is there a hockey game going on behind Sherrod? I hear it's Hawks.
Got to be Bobby.
I know it's the boards. It's the boards. You get your role. Get your role in front of the most qualified candidates. Use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires. So here's what you do. You go to linkedinjobs.com/garden. That's linkedin.com/garden. Sorry, not LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn.com/garden. Post your job for free. Once again, LinkedIn.com/garden. Post your first job for free. LinkedIn
just go in there
Jobs
and
will help
post
you
a job. Just post
find
a job.
the candidates you want to get to. Jimmy loves this bit. He loves this bit.
You don't even have to have you don't even have to have your own company. Just
I love
post a
this.
job, and like people are going to be impressed. People are going to be very impressed by it when they say,
They love
"Wow,
it.
he's hiring."
Jimmy loves it. He loves this bit.
Yeah. It's going to hit at some point.
Any other odds and ends from tonight? And again, can't
Did we talk about Grant?
No. But we can't
That's it for the
overstate.
show.
So we gotta go. No Grant, no Jalen. No, we can talk about anything. You can't overstate like how awesome it was. Almost like top to bottom, soup to nuts. There's not a person you're gonna. And Bobby, I'm joking. There's not a person you can pull out of tonight's game and say, "Nah, that guy didn't."
No, you can't. Every unit built on the last. The bench got built leads, and then the garbage time unit built an even bigger.
Roderick
lead.
Thomas even had
This
a
is
couple.
this is that game where the next time you have practice, like you're not running at all. Like coach is so impressed with you guys. Like everyone did their thing.
Yeah,
so.
Take the day off, guys. This is a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
We're not running.
No practice tomorrow.
Joel Embiid got 17 free throws, but that's okay. You know, that's out of our control.
The way they handled Embiid was just brilliant.
Yeah,
he wasn't even near the rim at the start of the game. Everything was far away.
He still got
flopping.
Trips to the free throw line, Bobby.
He be flopping.
Well, let me ask you guys this:
If not for generous whistles, Embiid might have had single digits tonight.
I'm curious about that.
Which is exactly what I wanted to happen, but it was impossible because
they absolutely neutralized him. Go ahead, Bobby.
I'm curious about this. I wonder what you guys think. Is that strategic? Just hammering them, sending them there. Maybe you'll miss a few, but don't make anything easy. It felt like that was his goal.
Sometimes a couple were BS.
Yeah, the Horford ones were. Yeah,
the Horford ones.
Grant had one too.
Grant had one.
Grant had himself.
Yeah. But that's what you want to do with a guy like that. You want him to literally earn his points, and him shooting free throws is a way to do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, he didn't make his first field goal till like more than halfway through the second quarter. That's success. There's no way they're going to win when he's that non-factor for that stretch of time to start the game.
No doubt.
And without Rob, right? Exactly. Damn it, Bobby. No, yeah, did it without Rob. It's impressive. It really is.
It really was. The way they were so connected early on that end. And listen, we're talking on the string of 16 to 20 now. They're the best defense in the league by like 5 points.
It's starting to
99
like
defensive rating.
Yeah. It's starting to feel like one of those defenses where you feel like you're playing against 6 guys, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They're just swarming. They're swarming. They're everywhere.
I asked Brown and Tate it feels like to be part of something like that. And that's kind of what they talked about, John. Like it just feels like it's hard to score on you. I think that's what Jason said. Like and you can feel it just sitting inches away there and just how much size there is. There's no one to go at. I said that last show. This league now, like it's obsessed with finding the mismatch. There's not as much one-on-one breaking down guys individually. You're trying to find that advantage, and teams are still doing it against Boston, but they can't find it. So
they're so switchable and versatile now. 1 through 8, 1 through 9. It's really amazing, you know.
And Tice fit right in.
The Tice is perfect because he's such an ideal backup big because he does everything you want with that second unit. He's athletic. He's versatile. He can defend multiple positions. He can stretch it out on offense, but just defensively, he's everywhere. He's perfect.
I was
with that
stunned
unit.
at how good he looked.
He was so good.
Yeah. He hasn't played real minutes since January 10th.
Yeah.
And this team really folded. I mean, granted, the way the Celtics were shooting, I guess any team would, to some effect, would just, fold the way Philly did. But the way they did it, like, you look at someone like Tobias Harris, and sure, he has his nights where, he's cutting through and he's, getting to his spots and everything, but he's not a guy that's going to demand the ball and try to take things into his own hands,
forgot
right?
he existed until you just said his name.
Exactly. Outside of Joel Embiid, the Philadelphia 76ers, like, when they're
I
really
forgot he
short on
played
offense,
tonight, Josue, I swear.
when they're short on offense, like when it rains, it pours for these guys. And I
Tobias
really, honestly,
Harris, 2 for 7, -40.
Awful, just terrible.
6 points,
non-existent.
-40.
Non-existent. So, like, you saw,
I'll keep my lips sealed on him.
When this team is vulnerable, like it's the Celtics can really capitalize. And this is again earlier before Bobby came on. Like I honestly do think this is a message. Like not a message in the we'll take care of you guys, but look out for us. We're building something here, type of message.
Ugh, yuck. I wonder if Embiid had like PTSD from they always kick our ass, days when he used to talk about it.
It's not a rivalry.
It's not a rivalry. They always kick our ass. I love that. Because this was a beating. And I don't care James Harden or not. I mean, this was a beating. Oh my goodness.
That's what they had coming in. I mean, they're missing Curry, right, out of that group, and the Drummond second unit minutes mattered. He actually looked pretty good for Brooklyn in his debut too, by the way. So this is the risk Philly's taking here. Is Harden going to stay stable and healthy here? And if not, they cut out their depth big time to get him there.
Well, Bobby, how are they going to play though? Are they going to give him the keys? Are they going to be like, do your thing? Because
I asked Doc that pregame.
That's what he was reportedly complaining about in Brooklyn. What did Doc say about that?
Yeah, he was just talking about all the different stuff that they can do with those guys together and, how that's like the least of their concerns. But it was a lot of chemistry talk, and he's a very honest guy when he talks about like his group and what he's doing here. In fact, he said he doesn't know how to use Paul Millsap and he barely played in this game because of it. But in terms of the two guys there, he was saying like, you don't know how they were going to respond to his personality and to the way he's going to do things here. Like they're at ground zero there, and he was pretty frank with it. They don't have a lot of time. Like there just isn't it right now. And so guys are in the practice, like trying to feel off each other and figure out what they're going to do in terms of each other. Like this is going to be a boom, boom, boom process here in terms of figuring out how to play with each other.
He used the word process. You did that on purpose, Bobby. I know you did. Good job.
Yeah.
Doc Doc's going to be writing those excuses for at least a month or two.
I mean, they're baked in. You're shorthanded because you lost a couple players, and until you get your other guy back, and then you got to work through it. I'm really interested.
But are we going to get?
Yeah,
I think you're about to say what I'm about to say. Are we going to get angry, Doc? Though, like him and Harden, I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see.
I don't know, but all things are looking good. You're hoping for, fingers crossed, the couple of week Marcus Smart injury, and that's it. Final thoughts before we wrap it here. We're back tomorrow.
I'll go first because things are tearing down around me right now. I'm about to collapse through the floor.
Some dude from Philly about to yell at Bobby right now.
Derek White's obviously the key now. Can he take over this offense? And this one game, and it's against Detroit, so we're not really going to get a good look at it here. But you would assume that there'll be time after the All-Star break that Smart might miss there too. We haven't really seen him commanding the ball yet and being like the every play point guard, the organizer.
It didn't happen when Marcus was out either. He did not have the ball in his hands a lot.
Yeah, and Tatum's making great decisions in those spots, which is good. I thought he was just amazing again, whipping the ball around. Maybe Tatum's good enough to do it at this point, and White can keep playing the same role. I don't know where you guys are at on that, but I've been very impressed by what Tatum's become as a ball handler here. Brown, ups and downs. I thought he was decisive early, scored those points, and honed in on the scoring, which is still where he's at his best. I got a lot of crap on Twitter off the start there, but I'm still looking for the quicker decisions.
Bobby, people were demanding that when you do arrive to this post-game show, the first thing you did was apologize for your Jalen slander.
I don't think what I said is dramatic as it sounded.
In other words, you're not getting a damn apology. That's what.
No apology cam tonight, folks.
Bobby,
Bobby's
like,
hell for no, I ain't apologize for a damn thing I said. I feel you, Bobby.
I got the Brown. What was the question? When you ask something and he goes to that. I got that when I asked about it today. So I don't know how he felt about that, but I did take it to the room. I wasn't just yapping on here about it.
No, it's fine.
Damn your apology.
Yeah, it's you dared say that one of the beloved untouchable Celtics stars didn't play well for a game or two. How dare you, Bobby? You can't say that. Sherrod, anything from you?
No, we've hit all the different angles with this damn game. They beat the snot out of them. Moving on to Detroit, and hopefully you can get Marcus Smart back at a reasonable amount of time, because again, he's been such a key, integral part of what you're doing and your success.
Don't fall asleep tomorrow.
So right, and that's it feels like it's a trap game. The last game before the break at home, you're playing great, and you're playing a team that sucks and has nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose.
Yeah, they really suck though. So you're gonna have to really fall into a trap. Josue?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback on that, just grind it out. Make sure you stretch this thing out to 10 wins in a row. It'll be interesting to see who's handling the ball most of the time. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of Pritchard. Maybe see a little bit, but I don't think it'll be for that reason. I think
Jimmy.
you'll see
Who'd we lose?
guys like Taylor Brown, take turns handling the ball, being the distributor, and also I think an opportunity for White. Obviously, we talked about that too.
Get out
I
of
think
here.
He's been the what you kicking everybody out of here?
Nothing. I was just kicking Jimmy out. See if you noticed.
He looked so confused when you brought him back.
Yeah.
So yeah, the same obviously, but I want to see how they look without someone like Marcus and guys like Tatum and Brown pick up the slack with him out.
Jimmy.
I echo what Josue said. I'm going to be all eyes on Derek White tomorrow just to see how. I mean, I imagine he's going to get the start tomorrow, so he's going to get that burn with the first unit right off the bat, and I'll just be looking for that. And either way, I hope they can cruise into the All-Star break with a win, but I don't think I mean, they're going to lose at some point. So if it happens before, it happens before.
Yeah. Give me back.
Oh,
for me, go ahead, Josue.
No, this has nothing to do with the game, so I'm just gonna wait till you go. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, give me back-to-back Nesmith nights, okay? Give me Nesmith early and often tomorrow. I want to see him stack good performances together heading into the All-Star break. It's as important as anything else that's gonna happen tomorrow. You've done a lot of good things. Build the kid up a little bit.
Yeah,
you're gonna need it. It's gonna pay off. You're thin already.
That's a great call.
You need, please. I want to see him enter the game late in the first quarter or something. I want to see him get 8-10 minutes in that first half. I want to see that repeat itself in the second half, depending on how the game goes. And I want to see him just play and not worry about just hiding. Just play.
Yeah.
I liked tonight that he went to the basket a couple of times. We saw that in Summer League. We didn't see it a lot during the year because I think he's so freaking nervous all the time to mess up. Just play, man. Play with the confidence that your coach hopefully gives you, that these minutes are yours. You're not auditioning on the fly. Chill, move fast, but slow your brain down and just go out and play. I want to see it again tomorrow. And then he comes out a revived, rejuvenated guy that you can actually count on in spurts.
I'm just surprised that his confidence is what it is. Because, I mean, his coach in college was Jerry Stackhouse, who's one of the most irrationally confident human beings who's ever walked the face of the earth. And I love that about him. And that's why
irrationally confident.
I love that. Nesmith hasn't been that dude, though. I was expecting Nesmith to play with a little bit more swagger to him. So,
John,
I hope.
What do you hope, Josue?
I hope he doesn't. Ime doesn't reel him back. Get him in there. Keep him going. Keep the momentum going. That's all I was going to say.
Keep it going.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Jimmy, what do you got? End it with John's opinion on, speaking of Nesmith, Romeo Langford's first game in San Antonio.
It's about as good as Josh Richardson's first game and about as good as Thomas Satoransky's first game, which is none of the new guys played. So why don't you guys pump the brakes a little bit on your victory lap? Real quick.
I thought you were going to say they didn't do anything, but they didn't play. Okay.
It was. So once again, join our Discord server, clnsmedia.com/Discord. I guess it's already friggin' is it popping? I guess it's all jacked up right now. So Jimmy, I know, is going to head over. I might pop in. If you guys want to continue the chat with us, we're going to hang out over there. We'll keep the conversation going for a little bit longer. Obviously, you don't need us there to have the party. Just sign up right now, clnsmedia.com/Discord. It's right there for you. Come hang out with us. And again, shout out to our sponsor, linkedin.com/garden, to post your first job for free. LinkedIn, of course, the number one place to post your jobs, to go hire people for potential jobs. You don't even need a job, Jimmy. LinkedIn.com/garden. Post your first job for free. Once again, the Celtics win. I wish it was a 50 burger, but they didn't. They just missed it.
Hey, you know what, John? Speaking of 50, what I was going to say for all you Celtics fans out there, if you still up a little late, want to watch something, want to go back at the time a little bit, NBA TV is showing Paul Pierce's 50 piece on the one and only LeBron James. And he's got 35 right now. So fourth quarter and overtime is about to start. So
good call, Josue. Good call.
I bet he's going to get it.
Yes.
So jump on Discord. We'll go play by play with the fourth quarter of the Pierce LeBron game here.
Yes, I want to talk about that on Discord.
We'll hang out with you guys. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow. Celtics, Pistons. Then it's the